if you're a student and you're trying to figure out how to file your taxes or just get to know about all the different credits and how taxes relate to you, this video is perfect for you. We're going to talk about the eligible tuition tax credit, why you should be filing your tax return to get a refund, and all the different things related for you being a student. So let's get started with the eligible tuition fee. So if you're a student and you're studying at a post-secondary school, you will most likely qualify for this eligible tuition fee tax credit. Okay, and essentially here on the CRA website, you can see generally a course in 2025 at an educational institution in Canada will qualify for a tuition tax credit if it was taken either at a post-secondary educational institution or for an individual at the end, improving skills in occupation, okay, whatever. And it says here, you cannot claim the amount on your tax certificate if you are reimbursed by your employer or an employer of one of your parents. Okay, so essentially, if someone else is paying for your school, like your worker, you can't claim both. Okay, you can't get a refund from your employer and claim the eligible tuition tax credit. This would be incorrect, and a lot of people seem to do this, and a lot of people don't realize that you can't claim both of these things. You either claim the eligible tuition fee and you're paying for your tuition out of pocket, or you don't claim it at all if your employer has already, paid you back for that. So if you go through this website, you can go and see more things here related to your eligible tuition. But one of the really important things to note is that you will get a slip from your school, and that is how you know which amount to include on your tax return. So it's going to look like this tuition and enrollment certificate, this T2202. You're going to receive that in the mail or by email from your university, and it's going to have all this information related to your studies, how long you were studying, your session period, the date, number of months part-time, number of months full-time, and this eligible tuition fee. Okay, so you're going to include that eligible amount on your tax return when you're claiming the tuition tax credit. And essentially, it's just that 15% is what you're going to get by. So 15%, 15% is what you're going to get by as your tuition credit. So whatever you paid, let's say you paid $10,000 in your tuition tax credit, you'll get $1,500 back in, let's say, cash. Okay, it'll decrease your tax earned or tax owed by $1,500. Now, if you're a student and you worked part-time, make sure that you file your tax return in order for you to get a refund. Okay, most of you will be low income and you won't meet the basic personal exemption, which means no tax should be withheld, no CPP or EI as well. So you're going to get all that money back to you when you file your tax return. So a lot of students think, okay, it's not a big deal, I don't really need to file a tax return, even if it would be in their best interest to file it on their own. So make sure when you're doing, when you're looking about and figuring out whether you should file a tax return, just note that most likely you're leaving money on the table by not filing. Okay, because any place that you work, they're likely to withhold some tax on your behalf, which you are going to get back. Okay, so you're always going to want to do that and file. The next thing also is when you are filing your tax return, I would suggest using Wealth Simple Tax. That is the tax software that I use, and it is the most user friendly. Click the link in the description. You get $25 if you fund your account. Again, Wealth Simple Tax, very easy to use. You'll also be able to implement your tuition amount, your T2202 amount in that software so that you can claim it. All right. And it's very important to note that as a student, you want to make sure that you're keeping up with your filings and making sure that if you don't use your credit, so let's say you didn't work at all, there was no money that you can get back that was withheld on your behalf, you don't have to use your credit right away. It can get carried forward in the future when you're actually at a higher tax bracket and when you have an amount that's due. Otherwise, you can also transfer this to a parent. Okay, for $5,000 is the yearly amount, the maximum amount a year that you can transfer to a parent. Let's say your parent paid for your schooling, you can transfer $5,000 of tuition tax credit to them, and then they can claim that they can claim that credit on their tax return. So that's something to note as well. You don't have to use your credit right away. It carries forward in the future, which is, of course, very convenient for you and very good once you get to a higher tax bracket. Make sure to subscribe to this channel if this video helped for more practical Canadian tax guidance videos. Remember, this is just general information, not personalized tax advice.